Let's kick things off with the biggie. Did Formula 1 take things too far this weekend at the Qatar Grand Prix? We all know the physical exertions that are put on a Formula 1 driver as the human body is pushed to its extreme as the drivers battle high G-forces and deal with dehydration and the like. But did Formula 1 put the spectacle ahead of driver safety this weekend in the Middle East as Qatar returned to the Formula 1 calendar? Drivers were forced to deal with the extreme heat even at night at the low sail circuits, along with the taxing strain on the body that the fast cornering track dishes out, leaving a number of drivers voluntarily taking themselves to the medical centre after the race to be checked over. "It was by far the most physical race I have ever competed in," said George Russell after the Grand Prix. "It was insane how hot it was. It was like you were inside an oven. That was a huge challenge. I was trying to get some airflow. I sometimes train in saunas and you push your body to the limit and you get to a point where you're just like, I'm too hot and I want to get out. But that was the feeling from about lap 12, and to be honest, there were points where I thought I was going to faint during the race." Others too were suffering like Russell with the difficult conditions, with Lance Stroll suggesting the latter part of the race was producing a large safety concern for himself. "Everything goes blurry," said the Aston Martin driver. The last 25-30 laps, which is blurry in high-speed corners and blood pressure dropping and just passing out basically in the car in the high-speed corners and high G-forces. So you're relying just on your visual reference to the outside of the track and what that is. The last 20 to 25 laps, you can't really see anything." Charles Leclerc told reporters that it was twice as difficult as Singapore, which has previously pushed he and his fellow racers to the limit, while Nico Hülkenberg suggested this race weekend was the hottest and most physically challenging he's ever faced. Logan Sargent was forced to retire in the Williams and needed help getting out of his car because he was so unwell inside the cockpit, while Esteban Ocon was left literally vomiting into his helmet mid-race as he fought to finish the Grand Prix. So should Formula 1 have put the drivers through these conditions and gone ahead with the Grand Prix? Should a temperature limit be put on Grand Prix in the future, or perhaps should we just not be racing in the middle of the desert? Let us know in the comments section below as always. Elsewhere, Lewis Hamilton has been hit with a fine and a reprimand after crossing a live racetrack following his collision with Mercedes teammate George Russell on the opening lap of the Qatar Grand Prix. Hamilton tried to force his way around the outside of his fellow Silver Arrows driver as the pair once again tussled on track for the second race in a row. However, this time the duo got too close for comfort, with Hamilton making contact with Russell before losing his rear wheel, while Russell was sent spinning to the back of the field. Although the error in itself was perhaps punishment enough for the 7-time world champion, Hamilton would compound his error just a few moments later, leaving his car and walking across a live racetrack and back to the pits. The stewards have reprimanded the elder statesman of the grid with a €50,000 fine, with 25,000 of that suspended for the remainder of the season, and have given the former world champion his first official reprimand of the year. Hamilton was apparently very apologetic and realised that the situation could have been very dangerous for him as well as the drivers approaching. The stewards reinforced the fact that crossing a live racetrack can cause extremely dangerous situations, and the drivers have to be very cautious about it. Not exactly the best weekend for Lewis Hamilton with this incident, and another clash with his teammate, this time leading to Hamilton being forced into a retirement from the race, as tension is just starting to bubble between the British pair at the German constructor. Perhaps the on-track relationship is starting to tear apart at Mercedes. Not the best weekend then for Lewis Hamilton with this incident with his teammate, and perhaps more friction between the pair as their on-track relationship is starting to fall apart a little. It will be interesting to see how Mercedes try to repair the damage after this incident. Remember, you can follow that and all the F1 news on GPFans.com, GPFans Global as well across social media, and hit subscribe down below to stick with us here at the YouTube channel.